Step-parenting children who have been bereaved, the loss of a parent has died, is different than step-parenting children after divorce. The biggest difference is that the kids have this emotional, spiritual, psychological relationship, attachment to the deceased parent, and you don't know that parent. They're not around. There's no way for you to know who that person is. And one of the tasks of grieving well is what we call repositioning the person who has died. Kids carry their deceased parent with them through life. They figure out where in their heart that person fits and how they carry them. And if you don't recognize the presence of that deceased parent, it creates a big gap between you and them. That makes a statement to the children that I think is offensive, to be honest. Plus, they have to take their grief underground, which means they have to move away from you. Diane Fromm, in her book, Step-Parenting the Grieving Child, she says one of the things they do is they may idolize their parent. You know, they may have a real strong loyalty to that person. They kind of want to keep them alive, so to speak, right? And really what they're after there is for everybody to not forget who that person is. They're wondering who's going to die next. They've experienced, they've tasted, if you will, death, and how that shocks you and how it changes your world. And so they may wonder who's next. Sometimes they wonder if it's their other biological parent or a sibling or you. I've talked and worked with kids who liked their step-parent, but they were afraid to love them. Because what if they leave? And what if they die? That can get in the way. Remember this too, she makes a good point that kids are drawn to extended family. Somebody filled in a gap after dad died, and maybe grandma stepped up to the plate after mom died, whatever that story is, and those people become very dear to children. And so often, even when a step-parent comes into the picture, their bias will be towards those people and spending time with them as opposed to spending time with you. That can kind of get in the way of their bonding relationship with you. And then remember that there's going to be events in the child's life as they grow and change and develop, and just as life happens, that is kind of a re-grief opportunity. It just brings it up again. And oftentimes that creates a raw reaction from children towards their step-parent. It's like you become the brunt of the grief, and it feels really personal. It's really not. It's really sadness, but it comes out as anger. And it's understandable how you would be hurt by that and taken back by that. Try to let that bounce a little bit. It's really not about you. Here's a few suggestions to help you with kids. Be a grief counselor. I know that sounds strange, but enter into their grief. Ask them about it. Have dialogue with them about it. What do you think your dad would say if he were here right now? I know you're missing him. It's Mother's Day. Mom's not here. What can we do? Jump into those conversations. They'll decide how far they'll let you into their grief, but at least you're acknowledging and showing that you care about it. Listen to their stories. When they talk about that person, don't be offended about those stories. Jump in. When they look at family portraits, tell me what was going on here and here and here. And clearly it's also about the deceased parent, but it's an opportunity to just enter into that space and show them that they can share that with you, that you're not trying to push those memories of that person away, and that you can join them in that space. Now, sometimes people will object. I've had people say, but Ron, why should I do all this work to enter into the kid's grief, right? Well, first of all, it's an act of selfless love. But second of all, it shows that you're not competing with the child's ongoing relationship with their biological parent. You stand beside that relationship. And that makes you approachable. It makes you worthy of respect. I often find that kids admire their step-parent because of that, which of course is opening their heart to you, which is getting you what you want. So it's a little self-serving when you serve the kids, but it's the right thing to do, and everybody eventually comes together.